to the Brandi Pam podcast. I'm your host, Brandi.
And I'm Pam.
Thank you for joining us today. If you like the content that we create, then go ahead and click like and subscribe right now. And put your friends on too.
Yep.
So, I don't know what you've been told by dudes you date, but let me tell you that sometimes you have no idea what somebody is really like in their real life. Like, they can give you all types of like mixed signals. They might confuse you.
They lie.
Liars.
Liars. Deception.
Lies and deceits.
Yes. Let's talk about that.
I mean, you tell me all about it. Who lying to you?
Oh. Currently?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Somebody is good at it.
I don't know. It's but I have been in some situations where I had to let the person go because there were some lies told. They were very deceptive. There's this person that's out on the internet right now who is sharing her story about her situation with a person that she was dating.
Oh, the girl who said, who the bleep did I marry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because how do you marry somebody and you don't know who you married, though? Like, how does that happen?
Some people...
I worry about that. Like,
some people are professional liars. Like, they're so good at it. It comes like second nature to them. Like, they formed a whole, like, person...
identity.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I never thought about having a secondary identity to share with people instead of just being who I am. I never thought about that. Like,
maybe it's easier. So, like, when people, like, if they don't like you, they're not like...
But I wonder, like, what are we going to uncover? What are we going to discover that we will disdain, right? Have disdain for, dislike? Like, what do you call it when you really don't like something?
I don't know.
What do you call it? Like when you hate something real bad.
Hate?
Right, hate. What would we hate so much about who you truly are that you have to make up somebody else?
I don't even know if that's the reason behind why people do it. I think sometimes people do it because there actually is like a mental health issue and they probably need to go, like, it's like a sociopathic type of behavior.
Yeah, sociopathic. Okay.
Yeah. But in other, cases, it might just be, it could be that somebody is like ashamed of who they are, parts of themselves, so they feel like they have to make up things. Or even if it's not them making something up, sometimes it's just like them omitting things or not sharing things with you.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to know about that part.
Like where you live. Like where do you, like I've asked the question of a guy before. I have said, where do you live? And he blew up. Like, he was like, what you mean where I live at? Like, I mean, it was kind of like one of those questions that it seemed like I was trying to catch him in a lie, but I didn't know that.
You didn't even know that he was like.
I just thought that was a regular, like, he knows where I live.
He's like, oh, right? Where do you live?
I'm not pretending to live on Dover Street. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, anyway. So, yeah, he wouldn't tell me. But I had seen him stop by his place before, or at least he told me that was his place. He pointed to it one time. Mm-hmm. We were like riding.
He's like, I live right there.
He was like, that's one of my buildings right there. And I'm like, okay. And I believed it. But then after I could not get that answer out of him, I was like, who does he live with? Where does he live? Does he live anywhere? You know what I mean? Like,
I had a guy. Gosh.
I'm sorry.
I
already know this is going to be crazy.
He gave me a whole address, right, of the place that he lived. Yeah. And I kind of knew early on that there wasn't something right.
Give you an address, though.
There wasn't something right about this situation. Like,
so much information.
I always investigate. So even with that information, I was just like, oh, okay. Looked it up, I do all the research. I want to know how many bedrooms. I want to know like all the stuff. And I started to realize that some of the stories that he would tell didn't align with what he was telling me about like where he lived.
Oh,
Like, so
that's really weird.
he told me, I think he had 3 bedrooms, but then like when I looked this place up online, it said it was only a 2-bedroom.
I want to ask a question really quick about the looking it up.
Uh-huh.
So why would you have looked up his address?
I wanted to see what it looked like on the outside. I don't know. I look up everybody's address.
So you had a feeling.
It wasn't even that I had a feeling then about like that he was lying. But once he gave me the address, I was just like, oh, okay, let me see. Because I had never been there.
That's the thing. We were talking about this earlier. When you give up too much information, it just makes it look like you're proving something because you have something to hide, right? So I'm just like, why all the proof? Why all the, that's my building right there. Here's the deed to my house.
Yeah.
Here's like, what? Why?
Or they do.
I don't need all that.
Sometimes guys will do things like, they'll lie about how much money they have, right? So
right.
What they'll do is maybe for whatever reason they suddenly came into some money, a check or something that was a large amount of money, and they conveniently will like leave the receipt somewhere,
right.
or make it so that their phone is open to like their account, so that way like everything lines up. He did stuff like that.
So crazy.
Where it was just like
leave hints and clues that are actual like little proof. My trail of proof. Right.
Or at least to make you think like, ooh, there's something else that he's not telling me. Like, he might have this money. Like, almost playing it like they're really humble.
Right.
But then also like, no, he's not humble. It's just like a lot of mystery. Too many things to question.
Yeah, but anybody who has like any sort of strategic way of, it's a manipulative thing to do. I feel like that's a manipulative character trait. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to transform the way someone thinks based on your own actions that are strategized, that is manipulative.
Yeah.
And
the reason why they did it, I wasn't so sure. I actually think that they did it because they were homeless and they didn't have a place to live.
Right.
So they tried to make it seem like they didn't need certain things. It was like, oh, I have a place to live. But
It's a little strange. And you know what? When I think about the person that I'm talking about, he actually used to say things like, I'm in real estate.
That is, I think, yeah, they all say that.
I'm in real estate. But what is your actual job? Because you can be in real estate and do so many other things. Like, it doesn't take up your whole day. Right?
It doesn't. But, some people, if they're making enough money, they don't.
But, like, people who are in real estate, I don't know if they actually say, oh, I'm in real estate. They give you their card. They have properties that they're showing. They don't.
Maybe he's like a real estate investor, or like, he flips houses or something like that.
Well, he could have taken me back to any of those properties, but I believe that he lived in each of those properties with someone else. Like that was my guess.
So you think that he actually did own the properties, but he also like
I think that
I
think that he lived somewhere.
Okay.
But I don't think that he lived alone, and that's why I could not know where he lived. And that's why he snapped on me instead of just being like, "Oh, I live at this place," because I would have never tried to visit or anything like that. I just wanted to, I wanted to know what.
So basically, he had a girlfriend, and he didn't want you to know that.
Or a boyfriend. He possibly had a boyfriend. And the plot thickens. Because listen, I had an encounter one time with him. I just happened to run into him.
Okay.
And we're talking about lies and deceit, so we're going to get into it.
Okay.
I was walking down Walnut Street, because we from Philly, y'all. And I'm walking down Walnut Street with my homegirl, and she was like, "Isn't that such and such?" Let's call them all Lee John, okay?
Lee John?
Wasn't that Lee John that we just saw, right? And you get it, right? Legion, Lee John, okay.
My nephew used to use that name all the time. Okay,
what?
Anyway, go ahead.
Seriously?
Lee John.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right, okay. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
Hints and clues as to how somebody is lies and deceit. Okay, so I saw him downtown with my homegirl. She said to me, "Isn't that Lee John?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes it is." She was like, "I don't have no drawers on." And I was like, oh my gosh, it doesn't look like he does through his very thin cargo pants, right? Which I thought was kind of like, we could see that you don't have any on, right? It was way too see-through. But next to him was this other very attractive SEXY gentleman, and they happened to look like they were like kind of holding hands a little bit.
Kind of holding hands?
I mean, I was in denial, so I was like, that's not happening. That's not happening. That's not real. I don't see it. I don't see it. Right? But I saw it, though. And I was like, and I don't think the other dude got drawers on either. They just wearing cargo pants, all loosey-juicy. Okay? I was like, oh my God, the juice is loose.
So you think that was one of the reasons why he wasn't taking you to his house? He wasn't
being forthcoming because he was with someone else, and whether it was a man or a woman, it wasn't just me.
Okay.
It wasn't just me.
Okay.
And I thought we were, like honest with each other at least, but everybody thinks people are honest with them until they find out they're not.
They're not. So, okay. So for a person like me,
does that sound like a made-up story?
It isn't. I mean, it doesn't sound made up, but anything could happen these days. You know what I mean?
Why did I have to give that detail that he didn't have underwear on?
I don't know.
I needed you to know, because maybe that will give you a clue as to maybe you'll.
I'll be like, oh, he didn't have on underwear.
Because he's loosey-juicy, that's why.
Oh, anyway, so how do you spot somebody like that could be being too deceptive? Like, you know what I mean? Because you don't notice it right away, I don't think. Like,
I think what happens is you start seeing somebody, everything's going pretty great, and then you get into the real stuff. You're like, all right, so, maybe ask them a question like, where do they live? Where do you work? What do you do for a living? When you're an adult, you want to kind of know where somebody, where they are on the income tax bracket, right? Did I say income tax bracket? Income.
Yeah.
Income. You want to know what
kind of how much they make
this person has, right? How much do you make? Okay, so a lot of times guys deceive you about how much money they have by wearing flashy clothing, or they have to have name brands, or they take you to the finest restaurants, and then slowly you don't eat out at all, and you're always cooking for this man. But it doesn't seem like he's broke because he took you to Eddie V's, right? He took you out several times. He broke his bank account and he maxed out all his cards. And now he got to take a break. So you're cooking every night for this dude. And you're like, that's not what I meant to do. I did not mean to be hard at work. So that's a clue.
Okay.
That now you don't go out anymore and he does not.
What if it's just not okay.
I mean, if it's agreed upon, if he's honest and forthcoming and saying, hey, listen, we've been going out way too much, I got to scale it back.
I was going to say, because it is get expensive.
But if you do invite him out and ask him, hey, let's go this place and that place, and he's always got an excuse, but he wants to visit your place, that's how you know he broke.
Okay. What about, if he never invites you? I feel like that's a red flag. If you've never been to his house.
I think that if somebody doesn't ever invite you back to their place, or if there's no way you're going to be able to visit them at home, they don't have a home. They don't have one.
So they're just homeless?
Yeah, they don't have one, or they are married, or they're domestic, they live, they're domestic partners with somebody else.
Okay.
Okay. That's why they always have to visit you. Unless they're really ashamed of their home. And they would have to be disgusting, have a disgusting house,
I knew somebody some years ago where it was at first they did not want me to come to their home because it was not in the best shape. They were living with some family members, and some of their items were still around.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it was there was nothing they could really do about that. So I can get how sometimes you're in a circumstance where you're living, but my whole thing is that, okay, it might be like that, but how long are you going to plan? Do you plan on staying in that situation? Is this a temporary thing?
That's honest, though.
Yeah.
That's not.
You can be honest about that. Yeah.
You're not if a person tells me, "Oh, my house is a mess, that's why you can't come," then I'm like, "All right, I get that." But if you're "I'm not telling you where I live, and I'm gonna start a fight when you ask me regular questions," then yeah, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I don't know if I want to deal with this. You sound kind of like a liar.
Okay.
He's an LIAR. But if a guy constantly wants to visit you at your home and he finds reasons to come back or doesn't seem to have anywhere else to go.
It doesn't seem like he want to leave.
You can tell when they don't have anywhere else to go. Because you can say something like, I'm expecting company over, and they'll be like, oh, I'll just be upstairs.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, well, what am I going to tell my grandparents? Like when they arrive, like they know that I'm single. So now there's going to be questions, like why there's a man upstairs. Oh, he has nowhere to go. Now I'm in real trouble with my grandparents. Okay.
Yeah, that makes it awkward, right?
So a guy who has nowhere to go, red flag. We should play that game again.
I know we gotta find those.
I think they're in there.
Find those flags.
They're inside the.
Okay.
We can use them.
Don't.
But yeah, so if they have nowhere to go,
okay.
What's one for you?
I mean that is one for me.
What about the over-explaining stuff? Like, oh, I have to tell you everything about myself, even though I was not asked. That means that you have a story that you were trying to perpetuate.
Yeah, I've had that done where it seems like they're being very forthcoming with information, but they aren't. It's like they're trying to create the story for me.
Right.
So it's like they're giving me all this stuff.
Oh my gosh, like I'm the type of person who like, I'll find out what type of person
Yeah,
you are.
yeah.
Like, relax.
Yep. So when they do that, or if they just share too much, I'm like, why?
Like the paper trail.
Yeah.
Like, let me just leave my bank statement out.
Right.
So she knows how much money I'm working with.
Right.
Or not, because that's not even your bank statement.
Yeah.
It's your grandpop's. He has the same name as you.
Right.
Lee John. That was clever of Lee John to get his grandpop's statement, right? His grandpop's house.
Right. And try to make it seem like it was all his. They'll come up with
somebody else's car.
Yes.
And they always have a different car. And you think they have a lot of cars.
Right. And they will make that up too.
Money.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cars.
Yep.
We like
that is a red flag right there.
Mm-hmm.
If he always has a different car, but doesn't really have an explanation for why he has a different car.
Mm-hmm. Or if he doesn't ever change his clothes. There have been times when I've known a person, and maybe I wasn't dating them or anything, but I have known someone like this, where every time I see them, they have on the same jeans and they have on the same t-shirt. Mm-hmm. It may not be dirty. Mm-hmm. Like they take it off and wash it, but that's all they have.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the same outfit you wore to everything we've ever been.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yes.
It's like, what happened to your clothes? How come you don't have anything?
Yeah, or like, would you like to go shopping? And then you're like tempted to buy them something to wear, but you wonder if you're either overstepping or if they'll start taking advantage of you.
They usually will take advantage of you.
Like now they're like, oh, that's your credit card you just pulled out to pay for my money? Now I know you keep your credit cards? Okay, great. Oh, inside your wallet? Next to the bed? Okay. I'll be getting myself another car.
Gosh. They will find a way to like say all the right things, and they are the biggest love bombers, okay? They will love bomb you to
just about
death.
to say they'll propose.
Oh, they will propose.
They propose fast too.
Really fast. They will say they are in love with you.
For this.
Yes.
I'm ready for love. I want to meet your kids. I want to be their dad.
Yep.
I don't even know them yet.
All the things.
I haven't met these little monsters yet. But I don't care if they're monsters. I need a place to live.
Right.
I'm gonna take food out of their mouths.
They will try to act like they are like the family guy. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is that they think you're gonna need.
Oh my gosh, yes. As soon as they're like, so what is it that you're looking for in a man? And they writing down.
They were like, all right,
who they gonna be tomorrow?
Check. Yep.
Oh, all right, I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Dye his hair. You're like, what? How's the disguise on?
Why is it so funny right now?
They pretending like you're cooking. So they be complaining to their grandma on the phone. Tell Grandpa Lee John I'm coming over. This bitch don't know how to cook potatoes the way you do, Grandma. Wait, no, never mind. He'd be like this. Grandma. Grandma, tell Paul Lee John I'm coming on over today.
Too many.
No, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm with a friend right now. Yeah, she's beautiful.
Why would he have that voice? Why does Lee John the third have a voice like
she knows
like
all,
an old
she
man?
knows all about you. She knows all about you, Grandma. You want to meet her? Yeah, I could bring her to church on Sunday.
It's not.
I'm gonna bring her to church on Sunday, Grandma.
No, I can't.
All right, I'll tell her all about. Okay, I'll let her know. All right, bye now. I love you too. I love you too. I love you. I love you too. I love you too.
There was a guy who made a fake offer on a house because he told me that
While they're looking for real estate to buy together because they are going to get married right away.
right, yeah. He wanted to convince me that was going to happen. And it was like, oh, okay, let's go to this open house. And then he was like,
That's the kind of stuff you do.
yeah.
Though. You're like, oh, you want to marry me? Okay, well, let's go look for rings.
Yeah, I was like, all right, let's go to open house. There's a house nearby. And then we went. There wasn't really anybody there. And then he was like, he said, if nobody shows up before we leave, I'm going to make an offer on this house, right? And I was like, no, he said, yeah, if nobody else shows up. So.
Oh my gosh, did he fake an open house too?
No, that was all real. Okay. So we had walked through the house and everything. It was done and over with, right? There was nothing else to see. He kept stalling. I was like, we could go now. Nobody showed up. And then like finally we left. And then as we were leaving, this couple walks up. And I was like, well, we're already going now. So now you have to make an offer on this house. So he didn't have like a realtor or anything because, he made it seem like everything was like cash or whatever. So he
Wow.
he sent an email to make like an unofficial offer to the realtor and CC'd me on it. And it was just like, he's going to follow through all the way, like with the lie.
I am, in the words of somebody near and dear to me, you have, what'd she say? I'm flabbergasted. You have gasted my flabbers.
But like sometimes once you tell one lie, you have to keep telling more. It's just so easier to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to
Hey, let me
remember.
Let me fix this. Oh, there you go.
Okay. You don't have to remember like what you said the last time because it's like I just told the truth. So
I know. The truth shall set you free. It feels very much like a prison when you have to keep on retelling the lie, and every time the lie just kind of falls apart just a little bit,
Because eventually the
Oh, I
person
forgot.
finds out.
I told you that part. Yeah, my dad was there. He was wearing orange.
Yeah.
And okay, oh my God, too many details. That's why you don't lie. And then nobody has to cry. And then it won't seem like I tried to pry. Okay? Because you know what? If you ask a liar a question that, like I'm telling you, that everyday question, where do you live? And he blows up at you, run. Really run, though. And don't let him come to your house.
Find out where they live too. Because like you don't want to later on find out that like they said they were living in one spot and then you try to like show up at their house. I mean, that's kind of what I did.
You know what I like? I like LinkedIn. LinkedIn accounts are probably better than like other social media, like some other social media accounts, because you have to kind of get like, they certify you and like endorse you and stuff like that. Like other people can endorse like what you actually said you do.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, some people do it like,
I never thought to use LinkedIn to date.
Yeah, well, yes.
Maybe I
'Cause
should.
then they actually have a resume. I know I have said this before to other people. Like, if you are looking to find somebody credible, legitimate, and somebody who actually has some life experience, and you can find out what type of person, what career they chose.
I think it can be confusing if you decide to use LinkedIn though for a date, because
Oh wow.
I'm just saying, like, it can get.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell them I saw their LinkedIn.
No. Oh, okay.
Like, I wouldn't tell them.
Oh, I thought you meant like to go on there like as if it were like Hinge or something.
No, but listen, they should have LinkedIn dating.
Right.
Shoot, because I want it for business-minded people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to go into business with my husband. I want to make sure that I want to have our own stuff. So, like, yeah, I want to make sure that he's able to hold up his end.
Yeah, I do usually like search for people on LinkedIn. Like if I.
Yeah, that's the kind of dating you need to do.
All right.
But that's what I think. I think that's usually a telltale sign. They can't answer simple questions, and they snap. Oh, you know what's my favorite? When they don't miss you after they've been on a trip. Oh, you didn't miss me? That's because you was with somebody else. Period. I don't care if you were with somebody you knew or didn't know. You weren't with me, and you know you weren't with me. You feel guilty. Now you need a couple of days to, like, maybe dry out, air off, whatever it is you got to do from your nasty self. And then you come back to me, oh, like, I'm so sorry I had an attitude. Like, my stomach was hurting when I got back. I don't care.
My stomach was hurting.
Like, you ever had somebody go away, and then they
come
arrive back, but one didn't notify you they were back. You called them and found, oh, I'm getting up from a nap. Seriously?
Right.
You napped when you got home rather than called me? Or come straight to me? And now you got an attitude that I call, like, I'm disrupting you? Okay. All right. You cheated.
Also, like, I feel like when you're in a relationship or you're dating somebody, if you haven't been introduced to, like, their friends, I feel like that's also a red flag, because this happened again with somebody that I know. Same liar, where I didn't meet any of their friends, really.
Oh, gosh.
And
Lee John wouldn't have any friends.
That's why I never met any of them.
Friends know things about you.
Yes.
You can't have friends.
He didn't actually have any.
Yeah.
I didn't know
You're
that,
his
though.
friend.
He would mention things about them, and sometimes he would have. They were probably fake phone conversations. Now that I think about it.
He wants to spend all his time with you. Remember
Yes,
that?
yes.
I just want to spend all my time with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have any money. I can't leave. Do you have any mayonnaise? I'm not going to the store to get it for you because I don't have a car. You have to drive me there. Oh my gosh. Why did I think mayonnaise?
I don't know.
Because it'll be something that you, like, may not keep in the house, and it's like he really wants to have that, but he doesn't know how to tell you he needs mayonnaise, but he doesn't have $3 to buy some. That's not a real scenario, but it sounds like it could happen.
Oh God. All right.
You know, like certain needs of his that can't be met, like he needs an inhaler, right? So he needs an inhaler, but they cost, like, at the time.
Did this happen?
This did happen. They're $15 or something at the market. And I'm walking around the market, loading my cart up with things I need to make for various dinners throughout the course of the week. I'm single, but I do make dinner. And he's next to me, putting things in the cart also. Right? This is my boyfriend. We catch the bus together. And, I really he was cute. And he could dance real good. Okay? He was a very good dancer. So
this sounds superficial already. He's cute and he's a good dancer. Okay, go ahead.
I love to dance. Mm-hmm. So we're at the supermarket. He's also putting things in the cart. I'm like, all right, well, comes time to pay. He doesn't have money, but he had put an inhaler. That was his personal inhaler in the cart. At the time, they were $15 at ShopRite. At ShopRite, $15. Like, that's one item in my cart. I catch the bus. I don't have a car. I can't afford things, right? And he actually did have me pay for that. He actually did not. He was not proud. He was not a proud man. He let me pay for that. Oh. He also ate all my snacks, and he got high while I was at work. I would come home. He'd be stoned. It'd be like a trash bag, like, connected to my bedroom door with a bunch of snack bags and stuff in there. And I'm like, you really put a plastic bag on my door handle for your snacks? And you laid around all day? And I worked? That was the end of him. And I actually ghosted him. I didn't even tell him why we were breaking up.
That was a long time ago, though. That was like before like ghosting was like a thing.
But that was a long time ago. That was old Brandi. Old Brandi would just ghost you. Now I'll tell you like why. You know, I'd be like, that wasn't cool. We didn't like that. Nah. My family told me that you were a problem. So you are, and you're out. You know, oh, that's my cousin. And it's a female, and it's his cousin. But he also has a god sister that he hangs out with too. So he got a cousin, a god sister.
Very specific.
What are god sisters? What are those? I don't have a god brother. I've got parents. What are god siblings? Do they get you if your other siblings die?
We should have
Right? God parents are for when your parents died. God siblings are not a thing. It's not, though.
This is a good point. Do we have any final thoughts, though, about this topic?
My final thought is that if you are making up all kinds of family connections with the opposite gender because you know that I'm jealous, then that means that you are lying. Again. Lee John.
So now that we talked about some of the red flags and things to like look for when dealing with somebody who might be deceptive, like what are some ways that we can avoid that altogether? Like what can we do in our relationships to make sure that like if we are meeting somebody that may try to deceive us a little bit, like how will we know? Like what can we do instead?
So here's one thing that I know a lot of us have a problem with. We have a lot of trouble with this. Listen to your people. If everybody you're saying your story to is telling you the red flags, it's not because they're a hater. It's not because they don't want you to be happy. It's because they see what you can't see. So just listen. Listen the first time. I'm telling you, it will save you years.
That's a good point because like when you're all wrapped up in that person and like, you know, you're in that honeymoon
and you're like,
phase.
You don't want me to be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't got no man. That's why you hating on me. You know what I mean? Listen. Just because I ain't got no man doesn't mean, I mean, I do. But I'm just saying back in the day, I ain't had no man. And I was incredible. People are credible if they love you. If they care about you and you know they genuinely want what's best for you, listen to them. Even if they don't have a person themselves. It's because they avoid the liars and they're looking for the special one. And you are worth waiting for too. In heaven's name, why do you play these games?
That's when I think things are going to be normal. Okay, so that's good advice. Listen to your friends. So then, I mean, this might be kind of like off to a tangent a little bit, but like, how soon should you like introduce somebody that you're dating to your friends? Because I get kind of like worried, like if it's too soon. Like if I'm not really serious about somebody, like should I introduce them to my friends?
It doesn't matter about the level of seriousness. I think that does not matter. Your friends understand what level you're at. So, I mean, make sure you communicate that to the person you're dating too, though, that like, this is not because we're in love. This is because we're hanging out. These are my real friends. If you're getting to know me, you're getting to know us. Because that's who I am.
Okay.
You know?
I think another thing is just like paying attention and communicating and asking good questions. And like trusting your gut. Like if something tells you like right away, like that doesn't seem right, don't ignore it. Like I feel like that's been something I've done a lot of.
Yeah, don't ignore it.
Like
don't let it slide.
I make excuses. I'm like, well maybe it just meant this. It's like, no.
We
like,
let things slide when we're having a good time. We will. We'll be like, oh, well, you know what? He lied about that one thing, but he said sorry because I really like the way he pops popcorn.
Or, ooh. Remember?
You know what I'm talking about. He be popping that popcorn. And you be like, oh, but his popcorn is the best. It don't even taste good if it's not his popcorn. But you know what? His popcorn is bad for me.
Too much butter?
Too much butter. So much butter. So buttery and delicious.
What are we even talking
Buttery
about?
popcorn is very delicious. However, it's causing you problems. Get rid of it. See, you made me do that. You made me go off on a tangent about buttery popcorn.
Really?
And it really was a metaphor for you know what I'm talking about.
Why do we keep going back to that? But anyway, as I was saying, like, you know, like listening to your intuition and like not ignoring when something seems like it's not quite right. The one guy had even, he was so good at lying that he even told me about something that he was dishonest about at first, which made me think that he was being honest. Like,
right, like he was revealing something. So
like,
oh, he's coming forth.
Yeah.
He's coming clean.
Yeah,
Man.
like he told me something and I was like, okay, I can trust him now. But it was like, no. He just made it seem like he already told me the lie, so that way I wouldn't be suspicious about the other lies. It's like, oh, he already told me about the lie.
I have another idea too. This is so fun. This is fun, like just peeling the layers, right? If a guy, this is what you do. You wait for holidays, like big holidays, to find out who they truly are. If they can't spend them with you, they're spending them with someone else, or they don't have the money to do something for you, or whatever it is. But as long as like they haven't said anything to be honest about why they can't spend that holiday with you, or your birthday, especially if it's your birthday, forget it, he's done.
Yeah.
But when those holidays come by, that's when you really get the truth, and you'll feel it that day. But then you might forget because he'll try to do a belated thing or make it up to you, and it's never quite right, never quite the same as if he had done it right. But you will ignore that because he made it up to you. But guess what?
Or if they try to start a fight around the holiday.
Yes.
Or somehow, even if they don't, it doesn't seem like they started the fight, but somehow you miraculously end up in a fight.
Something is your fault.
Yeah.
I was up late last night because your dog barked or something.
It'll be
something
like,
silly.
what?
Like something I couldn't control, and you're angry with me. Great. How? Like, seriously? Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow, bro. That was a really good convo. All right, well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
What are you doing, Pamela?
Texting a friend. I'm turning my ringer on so you can hear it when they text me back. Interesting. I ain't got no friends. So you're trying to say that if I had a party, you wouldn't know who to invite. Who do you invite for your parties? I'm just curious, like, because you have so many friends.
I just invite, like, people I want to see.
Oh, okay.
People I like to party with. Party people. All the party people in the house.